that language. So when you don't speak the language, grammar is not going to be easy. It's not, and then to build up on that and show the kind of things that he did, and that's what this topic interests us, and that's the kind of our thesis statement for this presentation, that he took a language that was not his spoken language, and then he played with it. He literally played with it and showed all the things that we could see. So like, as I said before, our focus is going to be on the literary devices that he used. So our overview is, we will talk a little bit about the Raga Mudra because almost everyone kind of knows, so we'll spend a few minutes on that. We will talk about something called prasam in Sanskrit grammar, and as we come to it, I'll explain. Yati, which you may have heard many times in different compositions, especially in Ragam Tanam Pallavi or Swaram singing. The Yati comes a lot in those kind of things. And Muthuswami Dikshithar means the first thing that comes to our mind is the Kamalamba Navavarana Kritis. So he has created the Vibhakti, so I wanted to spend a little time on what Vibhakti really means. We all say, oh, he did this Vibhakti Kritis, that Vibhakti Kritis. But what does Vibhakti mean? What does it do? What does it do for the Sanskrit grammar? So that's what we are going to be looking at. So these are the four main topics that we will be discussing today. So when it comes to Raga Mudra, we all know that he used Guru Guha as his signature, and pretty clever, because if you're using Guru Guha, you can address Shiva, you can use Parvati, you can do Ganesha, you can do Vishnu, you can do Lakshmi. All of those major gods are covered, and so he could compose using the Guru Guha as his mudra. But he, on top of that, so that nobody will ever mess up his kritis, he made sure that he put the raga names also in it. So that the raga, whatever he intended, that is the way it was to be sung. Whether it is being sung the way he intended, I don't know, but we tried. Right? I recently heard a TV interview where the musician was saying that the 7 Sangatis that we sing for Vatapi is a little overdone, because Muthuswami Dikshithar only had 2 Sangatis. So this musician sang that in the concert, saying all this extra is jazz added by later day musicians. Perhaps it is, but we all enjoy singing those anyways. It's an evolutionary process, so we enjoy that. So the Raga Mudra can be of 2 types. The first one is Pratyaksha Mudra, which is very common. Things like Kanjadalaya Dakshi, Kamakshi, Kamala Manohari, the Raga names come like that. Dvijavanti Raga Nade. You know, every song has that kind of very straightforward, the Raga name shows up. We understand that this is the Raga and we move on. But sometimes he used the language quite cleverly to show us some of the Suchita Mudra. Suchita means it's indirect. So you have to sort of look at the lyrics a little carefully, see how the words are juxtaposed so that you can actually get the name of the raga. So first, I'm going to have Mallika sing this. No, sorry, Divya sing this. I'm going to ask you to see if you identify the ragam. I mean, you will identify the ragam because you're all seasoned music concert goers. But see where the name comes. And then I will talk a little bit So, audience participation. Anybody figured out where the ragam name came in this? Excellent, excellent. Hamveera. So, Hamir is the ragam. So, he used little poetic license there. Hamveera he used. Right? And I want to give a shout out to SIFAA for this because I learned this in one of the SIFAA concerts by Bharat Sundar. So he performed this song and then he explained how the Raga Mudra comes in this raga. So thank you, SIFAA, for doing that.
A little bit of a tricky question also.
Yeah.
Manirang came, though it is not in Malayalam. No, in the lyrics.
In the lyrics, but yeah. So Mallika is going to present a little bit more popular. We're going to try to keep the songs so that are fairly well known so that easy to relate to. This one was not as well known. So Mallika is going to present the next one and keep your ears out for the ragam name again and see where it comes.
Varamuni bhavita murte vasanatraya vivajita varamuni bhavita murte vasavadyakhilani varavitarana bahukete darhasayuta mukhamburuhe adbhuta charanamburuhe darhasayuta mukhamburuhe adbhuta charanamburuhe samsara vidyapahe sakala mantrachari guhe samsara vidyapahe sakala mantrachari guhe Sri Saraswati Namostute Paradevate Tripati Gauri Pati Guru Guhavinute Vidiyuvate Sri Saraswati Namostute Varade Sri Saraswati Namostute.
Thank you. All right, your turn. Where was the ragam name here? Good one. Samsara Arabi. So it's two words and then you put it together and you see some R-B comes like that. So there are other examples like Ramachandram Bhavayami, Nivasantam. So he is living in Sangeetha, so he uses the word Nivasantam. So the raga name Vasanta comes. So similarly in Sumadhyuti, which is Simendra Madhyamam in Dikshithar scheme. So again there it comes Kaumari Kusumadhyuti. So you have to kind of watch out for that. So there are these are few examples of how cleverly he manipulated those words to get the raga names along with all the other things that he did. So that was on the Ragamudra. The next topic that we are going to be talking about is the prasam. Prasam is really ornamentation with words. In English poetry, we would call it rhyme, alliteration. These are all common English words that we use. So except that in Sanskrit, there is more than these two. A rhyme is the last syllable, which in Sanskrit is called Antyaprasha. So here are some of the commonly applied things. So Adi or Adhyakshara Prasa, which is the first syllable or the first letter, Akshara actually, because in Sanskrit we don't have the letter there, so it's the Akshara. Then you can have the Dvitiya Akshara, the second letter could be rhyming, or the same letter, not rhyming, same letter. Then you could have Anuprasa, which is like repetition of the same Akshara coming at regular intervals. So in the Talam it should be falling rightly on the Talam too. So the Anuprasa is a little bit more tricky. And then Antyakshara, which is like the rhyming scheme that we have in English. So where the ending sound is the same. So we are going to try to explain some of these words. So I want to also point out that in all of these compositions, each line or sometimes half a line, like for example Aditalam, which gets split in two halves. So all these prasha, if it is Antyaprasha, it should be ending at the same place. And it cannot be, you cannot say some Shambho and then stretch it like that. Then it is not the correct prasa. So if it is Shambho came like this, then next time Vibho should be coming like that and so on. So that's the important part. So not only that you have to match, but you have to have the meter correct. So for example, in our day-to-day example, maybe not everybody wants to sit down and sing as long, but we know many shlokas in Sanskrit that have these kind of things. So I just picked one that is kind of obvious. So in this case, Asato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityorma amritam gamaya. So you see the words gamaya is coming, ma is coming, to, which is the rhyming scheme there. You have to, so, yo, all similar sounding words. And I'm sorry, I didn't match the Shruti because I'm used to doing this only in that one. So this is a very common example. So if Dikshithar was from a Vedic scholarly family, so he must have learned all of these things in his Veda Parayanam and learning all of those, right? So that's why he was able to do it. In addition to being a genius, he was exposed to all of these things in his studies. So the first one that we are going to do is show you the Dvitiya Akshara Prasam. And this time I'm going to show the lyrics so you can see where the prasam is coming.
Akshara Swarupa Amita Pratapa अमित प्रताप आरूढ़ वृषभ जगन मोह आरूढ़ वृषभ जगन मोह दक्ष शिक्षण दक्षतर सुरलक्षण विधि विलक्षण लक्ष्य दक्ष शिक्षण दक्षतर सुर लक्षण विधि विलक्षण लक्ष्य लक्षण बहुविचक्षण सुद भक्षण गुरु कटाक्ष वीक्षण अक्षर लिंग विभो
So, many of you know that Dikshithar Kritis are also Kshetra Kritis. So this temple picture that you see now is the temple in Kivalur in Tamil Nadu, and that's where the Akshay-lingam is there, and then that's where he composed the song. That's just an added. So this one has the Dvitiya Akshara Prasa. So you see how the Ksha sound is coming and all coming on the same place in the talam. So that was our Dvitiya Akshara.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
What's temple name did you mention?
Kivalur.
Kiru?
Mhm.
Kiru.
Kivalur. The next example we have is Adhyakshara or Anuprasam. And in Adhyakshara Prasam, you have the rhyming and in this case there are both happening, the first syllable and the last syllable. So you know, I'm a teacher by profession, so I had to kind of look back. So did you notice where the Pratyaksha Ragamudra came here, right? Bilahari came very clearly in the song Bilahari Nutta Kamale. So our next example is going to be Antya Prasa. So this is either a letter or a group of letters coming at the end. So last one also you kind of saw the Antiprasam, lay was coming everywhere.
नाना प्रपंच विचित्र करो नाना प्रपंच विचित्र करो नाम रूप पंचभूत करो अज्ञान द्वांत प्रचंड भास्करो ज्ञान प्रदायको महेश्वरो अज्ञान द्वांत प्रचंड भास्करो ज्ञान प्रदायको महेश्वरो दीनवनोद्युक्त दिव्यकरो दिव्योगादि सकल देहकरो मानसानंदकर चतुरकरो मद्गुरुवरो मंगलम करो दुषीना तादि गुरु दीनवनोद्युक्त दिव्यकरो दिव्योगादि सकल देहकरो मानसानंदकर चतुरकरो मद्गुरुवरो मंगलम करो दुषीनादि गुरु जयति जयति जय चिदानंदनाथो ममिति संततं हृदि भज श्रीनाथादि गुरु जयति गुरु जयति.
So you see that the letters are all colored based on whatever is happening here. So so you see the first, each two lines has similar sounding words. I should not say words, similar beginning, right? So nana, namarupa, ajnana, jnana, although you might say, okay, they are not quite the same, jnana and ajnana, but they sound the same. So that's the whole idea. And then dina, divya, and things like that. So this, yeah.
So if it is, you're doing the whole channel, why can't you do it for the last line? So you could have changed it to Sumangalam Karo, right?
He could have, but I think the verb is the karotu, I am doing it. Karo means you do it for me. Karotu means I am doing this namaskaram, mangalam karo. Oh, I don't know that much Sanskrit. So he must have had some reason for it.
I can tell you, it don't match the meter though.
Okay.
Mankuruvaro mangalam karo
He
dure.
could have put Sumangalam Karo.
To make it easier on the singers maybe.
But hindsight is 2020. So also I should point out that this was his very first composition. So, give him a little slack. So this was Antiprasam. The other thing that is happening in this particular composition is what is called in Sanskrit is Mohana, in Tamil it's called Mone. In those of you who must have learned any Tamil poetry, there is like Yedugai Mone and things like that. So all these, the same sound coming in the beginning and repeating, those are all called Mone. So that's nicely used also here in this situation, in this particular composition. So our next topic is Yati. Yati is essentially structure in a composition. So there are 4 yatis that are typically used. Shroto Vahayati, which means goes up like a mountain, right? Go Puchayati, some people say it goes like a river also, because if you look from the top to bottom, it looks like delta, right? So that's why some people say it looks like a river. You may say it goes like a mountain. Either way is fine. Gopuchayati, which looks like your tail of a cow. So it narrows down. So that's the picture goes along with. Mridangayati is you start narrow, widen it, and then come back down to the narrow part. And then Dhamaru is just the opposite, wide, narrow, wide. So it looks like a Dhamaru. So that's the idea. So these are the four common, and of course there is Samayati, which means you go on the meter just 2 syllables, 4 syllables, or 3 syllables, whatever the composition and the talam require, you keep up with that. So most kritis are in Samayati. But Dikshithar has used Shroto Vahayati and Gopuchayati in some very defining compositions of his. I looked a lot for the Mridangayati and Dhamaruyati. I couldn't find anything. I found some Ragam Tanam Pallavi, some Swara singing by different musicians which show this Yati, but not in a composition. Perhaps it has got something to do with the talam, matching the talam, or maybe he didn't find it to be interesting aspect in a composition. So the Dhamaru and Mridanga we will not be able to show through Dikshithar Kritis. There are some in Balamurali Krishna's composition, but since our focus is on Sri Dikshithar, so we will demonstrate the Srota Vahayati as well as the Gopuchayati. So first is the Srota Vahayati. Remember, it widens. So Malika is going to sing this.
Nagaraja Vinuta Padam Nada Bindu Kalaspadam Yogi Raja Vidita Padam Yoga Padbodha Moksha Pradam Yoga Rudha Nama Rupa Visvasasyadi Karanam Yoga Parivrotyada Masa Dina Ghatika Javaranam Sri Guru Guha Gurum Satchidananda Bhairavisam Sri Guru Guha Gurum Satchidananda Bhairavisam Siva Sektyadi Sakala Tattva Swarupa Prakasam Siva Sektyadi Sakala Tattva Swarupa Prakasam Sam Prakasam Swarupa Prakasam Tattva Swarupa Prakasam Sakala Tattva Swarupa Prakasam Siva Sektyadi Sakala Tattva Swarupa Prakasam Jaga Raja Yoga Vaibhavam Sada Sayami Jaga Raja Yoga Vaibhavam Agharaja Yoga Vaibhavam Raja Yoga Vaibhavam Yoga Vaibhavam Vaibhavam Bhavam Vamsi Tyagaraja Yoga Vaibhavam
song, as I said, it shows the Shroto Vahayati, but if you paid attention, also in the Pallavi, the reverse was happening. The Gopuchayati was also there. But we didn't want to put, two examples in one song. We just wanted to mention. We will separately show a Gopuchayati in another composition.
Sri Varalakshmi Namastubhyam. Sri Varalakshmi Namastubhyam. Vasuprade Sri Varalakshmi Namastubhyam. Vasuprade Sri Varalakshmi Namastubhyam. Vasuprade Sri Rasapade Rasapade Sapade Pade Pade Sri Rasapade Rasapade Sapade Pade Pade Sri Varalakshmi Namastubhyam. Vasuprade Sri Rasapade Rasapade Sapade Pade Pade Sri Varalakshmi Namastubhyam.
Going back to the topic of reviewing, you see Antyaprasam is also being used here. The day sound is coming all the way in ending of each one of those words. So that kind of completes our Yati part of this presentation. Then the next one is the Vibhakti. Now Vibhakti is a pretty difficult concept, doesn't exist in many of the Indian languages except for Sanskrit that I know of. And then it definitely does not exist in Tamil, that much I can say. Because in Tamil we will say something like Ramanukku, Sitaikku, Kovilukku, everything is what it is ending, which means to, right? Or for, something like that. So that proposition that we are using in generally in all the other languages, it will be the same word that goes. Whereas in Sanskrit, there is a lot more going on. And in English, of course, if I want to say to Rama, that's two words. Rama stays still the same. Rama is not modified in any way. But whereas in Sanskrit grammar, depending on what preposition you are attaching to the noun itself will change. So you have 7 vibhaktis. So here it kind of lists all the different propositions that can add to the word. I think the example is given in terms of Deva. I don't know if you are able to read all of that, but if not, there are 7 vibhaktis, and the 8th one is like Sambodhana, meaning addressing someone. So there are 8 of those. And to make things complex, in English language we have singular and plural. In Sanskrit language we have 3 levels: singular, dvivachana, meaning two, and then bahuvachana, multiple. So you have these 3. So this one noun with the proposition and the number of people there will get, the next one you see, 21 modification to the noun. So 7 times 3, and then the Sambodhana is not even included in that. So you see here the example is with Rama. I wrote it in Sanskrit because it was easier to see the words differing. So you see Ekavachana, Dvivachana, Bahuvachana, and then you see Prathama to Saptami Vibhakti. This is only the example of Rama, by the way, which is on top it says Rama Akaranta Pullinga. Rama is the noun. Akaranta is ending with the R, Rama, right? Ending with the R. Pullinga, masculine gender. So you similarly have feminine gender. So you will have another set of 21. So if it was like Lakshmi, who would be Rame, something like that. So that will have separate. So you can it gets to be very confusing very quickly if you have not learned. And then on top of that, if there is, this is Striling, Pulling, and then there is a neutral gender also in Sanskrit. So that will have another set. So there is a lot of grammar that is going on. Yeah.
Could you read a few? Because for those who can read the notation.
Rama, Ramo, Ramaha. That is the Prathama Vibhakti for Rama. Dvitiya Vibhakti, where the Prathama Vibhakti, the Rama is the subject. Dvitiya Vibhakti, Rama is the object. So then the words will be Ramam, Rama, Raman, depending on whether it is one, two, or many. Tritiya Vibhakti will go with or by. Those are the propositions. Then Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramehi. So things like that. I don't think you want me to fully read this. So that complexity in language, and then to use that language in a composition, set it to meter with correct subject addressing the deity that he addressed. And so that is the whole concept of Vibhakti Kritis. That I think of all the work that Sri Dikshithar had done, the Vibhakti Kritis is by far the most complex aspect of his compositions. So if you are okay with the grammar part, then we can recognize that he did a whole bunch of Vibhakti Kritis, not just one Kamalambana Bhavaranam. He did Ganesha, Guru Puha, Rama, name, and then special gods and goddesses that he visited, Abhyamba and Nilotpalamba, all those Vibhakti Kritis that he has done. So he has used that Prathama Dvitiya like that. So there would be at least 7 compositions, but typically all of these would have invocation piece and then a Mangalam piece. So they would at least be 9. Sometimes the Kamala Manavavarnam has 11 compositions like that, because he one invocation is not enough, so he did 2 invocations, right? And it's also it has got Nava, so it has got more to that. So this aspect of Vibhakti is in the next example that we will present. Obviously, we are not going to be presenting 8 of those or 9 of those. So just one, Panchami Vibhakti on Abhyamba Vibhakti Kritis.
Abhayambikaya Abhayambikaya Anyam Najane Abhayambikaya Anyam Najane Ajnanatmane Aparoksha Jnane Abhayambikaya Anyam Najane Ajnanatmane Aparoksha Jnane Abhayambikaya Anyam Najane Ajnanatmane Aparoksha Jnane Abhayambikaya Anyam Najane Ibhara Jagatya Iswarya Jagatya Ibhara Jagatya Iswarya Jagatya विभराजगत्याः ईश्वर्यजगत्याः नभोमणिगत्याः नादलयगत्याः नभोमणिगत्याः नादलयगत्याः नाभयामि कया अन्यं न जाने अज्ञानमाने अपरोक्षज्ञाने अभयामि कया अन्यं न जाने न
So the vibhakti part obviously is highlighted, Abhayambikaya, that is the vibhakti, Panchami vibhakti in this case. So just to put it in English, so obviously the meaning is, I do not know anyone other than Abhayambika. So, but if you are using it as a Panchami vibhakti, you would say, I know none other than Abhayambika. So they are conveying the same meaning obviously, but just the way you are using the Abhayambika in that language is what makes it a unique composition. I mean, Vibhakti Kritis, we can do a full lecture demonstration on that by itself. So since this is part of this bigger picture, so we will stop with the Vibhakti here. The last topic, and we will use it also as a summary of our presentation, is the Navagraha Kriti. So the Navagraha Kriti, by the way, the picture that you saw in Abhayambika, that is the goddess in Mayuram temple. That's Abhayambika. So Navagraha Kriti have a pretty interesting story to go with it. So once Dikshithar's disciple, his name was Thambiyappan. So Thambiyappan had the stomach ailment that he could not get it cured. He went to the doctors, medicine practices, nothing. Then he went to the astrologers. Okay, nothing is working. Can you do something? He said, oh yeah, you have Guru Dosham. You have to do this. But then since you are not a Brahmin, you cannot go to the temple and do all the puja. So forget it, you have to live with it. So he at that point goes and talks to his music guru Dikshithar and says, what can I do? He said, the astrologer said, I cannot go to the temple and do all the samadhana, so what do I do? So he says, you know what, music doesn't have any caste, religion, no nothing. So I'm going to compose a song on Guru and you just sing that. Sing that with as much bhakti as you possibly can. Do it every day and let's see how that works. That is as good as doing a puja. And if you pay attention to the lyrics of Dikshithar Kritis, most of the words are like doing archana, right? So he says he composed this Brahaspate composition in Athana Ragam, and his disciple goes home, practices the song for a week, and he gets cured. So the legend has it, then people are like, okay, so Guru is taken care of. What about what if I have a Mangala dosham? What if I have some other dosham? So what do we do? So Guru Sri Dikshithar just composed then 7 kritis as Vara kritis. So, and then why leave out Rahu and Ketu? Include them too. But there is some controversy about the Rahu and Ketu. Some people say that it was done later on by his disciples. So since I'm not an authority on that, so I'm just going to, we will call that Navagraha Kritis. So the Vara Kritis and 2 more, Rahu Ketu. So that way anybody could practice if you're not allowed to do all the additional going to the temple aspect. So the last Kriti that we are going to present is a Navagraha Kriti, which kind of incorporates many of the things that we talked about. It has the Raga Mudra, and there is a lot of controversy on that. Some people say that the Suchita Mudra, using the word in the Anupallavi, but really it doesn't come out quite like the name of the raga. And some authorities say, every rule has to have an exception. So this is the song where Dikshithar did not put the Raga Mudra. So that part is questionable, whether the Raga Mudra is Suchita in terms of, some indirect reference without the direct name of the raga. Of course, you will also hear many of the prasams. So I'm going to display the words. So when you look at it, so pay attention and see if you remember any of those words that we went through. Remember, the prasams are Adi, Adhyakshara, Dvitiyakshara, Antyakshara. 4 of them. So if you know Adi, Dvi, Antya, then you know what's going on, right? So many of those prasams will be shown in this in composition. The yati in the song is Samayati, and it will also include the vibhakti, because not only that this Navagraha Kritis are in 9 ragas, they are also in 9 different talams. Each talam is supposed to invoke the kind of energy that particular graha is to have. So each composition is uniquely in a different talam with matching graham and the energy of the graham. So this song is in Dvitiya Vibhakti. So technically Navagraha Kritis are also Vibhakti, but because there are more than 7, so the Vibhakti part is a little questionable. Give me 1 second, I want to do this. మంగళం కంబుగణం మంజుల జనపదయుగణం మంగళదాయకమే చతురంగం మకరోతుంగం అంగారకమాశ్రయామ్యహం వీణతాశ్రితజన మందారం మంగళవారం భూమికుమారం వారం వారం అంగారకమాశ్రయామ్యహం దానవసుర సేవిత మందస్మిత విలసిత వక్రం దానవసుర సేవిత మందస్మిత విలసిత వక్రం ధరణీ ప్రదం భ్రాతృకారకం రక్తనేత్రం ధరణీ ప్రదం భ్రాతృకారకం రక్తనేత్రం దీనరక్షకం పూజిత వైద్యనాథం క్షేత్రం దీనరక్షకం పూజిత వైద్యనాథ క్షేత్రం దేవయోగాది గురు కటాక్షానుగ్రహ పాత్రం దేవయోగాది గురు కటాక్షానుగ్రహ పాత్రం భానుచంద్ర గురుమిత్రం భాసమాన సుఖదత్రం భానుచంద్ర గురుమిత్రం భాసమాన సుఖదత్రం జానుస్తాసచిత్రం చతుర్భుజమతి విచిత్రం భానుచంద్ర గురుమిత్రం భాసమాన సుఖదత్రం జానుస్తాసచిత్రం చతుర్భుజమతి విచిత్రం అంగారకమాశ్రయామ్యహం వీణతాశ్రితజన మందారం మంగళవారం భూమికుమారం వారం వారం అంగారకమాశ్రయామ్యహం Thank you again, SIFAA, for the opportunity. And I don't know how much I conveyed of what I learned, but be assured that I learned a lot in just putting this together. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Vijaya. We also learned a lot.